Now it's time to call up our next, my thing here, our Timmins, to induct the 1974 Beck Girls Soccer Champs.
This is coming after 5 years. Duncan Roach told me to keep it under 20 minutes. I think his sermons are longer than that, so. Okay, I'm going to start by putting on my political hat and stating full disclosure, as they say today. I'm a member of this committee, and I'm also a member of this team. So, for that reason, at the nominating meeting in the fall, I abstained from nominating and for voting in the team category. That being said, I was very pleased to learn that this team was nominated. I know I speak for the whole team when I say we are very grateful to be nominated by this committee for this honor. The Coal Bowl recognized this team at the opening ceremonies in 2006. To help summarize the reasons for that recognition, I'm first going to highlight the major points of that address that night. So, I quote, "On November 20th, 1974, BEC defeated Bridgetown to capture the first of 3 provincial championships in girls' high school soccer. This win capped an undefeated season consisting of 12 wins, 2 ties, with a total of 33 goals for, 3 goals against, and 7 shutouts. After claiming the Cape Breton Championship, Beck defeated New Glasgow in the provincial semifinals. Back then, it wasn't a tournament. Headmasters, you played right across the province. We had to play Cape Breton first, Cape Breton playoffs, then the eastern Nova Scotia, New Glasgow, and then the western side was Bridgetown. Okay. So, from there, they advanced to the provincial finals against Bridgetown. In the home-and-home series, Beck defeated, we played to a 0-0 draw. And then, before a huge hometown crowd, they won 2-0 to become the first girls' team from Beck to win a provincial championship. They were also the first team from Cape Breton, from any school in Cape Breton, to win a provincial girls' championship. So that was the end of quote. That was the Coal Bowl summary. But I don't think it captured the excitement of that final game. Hundreds of fans, and I'm not exaggerating, lined the entire perimeter of the old soccer field. Before there was a turf field, that old soccer field, John and Joni knows it. Hundreds of fans circle that field. And matter of fact, a couple of times during the game, the officials would have to stop and push the fans back because they were crowding the field. Now remember, this was 50 years ago, before cell phones and selfies. I don't have an actual picture from that game, Mary and I were a little busy that day. But I found a picture of a Cape Breton championship game. Yeah. So that'll give you an idea. Now, there was 3 times the crowd at that game, at Cape Breton championships, at the final games. And take note of the cheerleaders in the corner. They were there too. Okay. Of course, at the end of the game, the players quickly climbed on the back of the fire engine for our victory celebration through town. Remember, this was 50 years ago when the safety rules were a little more lenient. Nowadays, you can't climb on the back of the fire engine anymore, but you can still use the fire engine for a parade, which is a unique characteristic of our town, and I hope we will continue to do that with provincial championships. Before I introduce the members of the team, I'd like to make a few points about the soccer program at Breton Education Center before they tear down that 54-year-old building and build us a new building next year. Over those years, soccer teams from Breton, boys and girls, won 15 provincial championships. That's amazing for one school, and I think up until a few years ago, that was a record. I don't think another school in the province had 15 championships. So, the second point I want to make about the soccer program, and in particular this girls' team, is that 50 years ago there was no AUS, that's Atlantic University Sports. There was no female soccer in university. And they have rules now then. University have rules of equal funding for female and male sports. And a good example of a result of that is our own university, Cape Breton University out here, has a national championship in girls soccer, in female soccer, and several Atlantic championships. So that's a direct result of the changing of funding rules for university sports. But my point is this: if they had had Atlantic University soccer back then, I know that several of these girls from those 2 tables over there could have made a university team, could have starred on a university team. I'll sum it all up by saying these girls could play the beautiful game that they called soccer. And more importantly than that, they were a pleasure to coach. They always played with a team-first, school spirit attitude. And I'll give you one small example of that as I close. 6 a.m. practices, they always showed up with a smile on their face, ready to go. Okay, I'm going to introduce the team now, starting in alphabetical order. And you'll have... Pardon? No, I have a little bit about each one of them, so maybe another committee member there. Lowell, you want to present them? Okay. Like I say, in alphabetical order, first we have Denise O'Coin. Come on up, Denise. Just take your certificate and come across. Yeah. Next, Michelle O'Coin. Mitch. Next is Leah Balden. She was dying to come. As a matter of fact, she called me 4 times when I sent out the letters. And she unfortunately had an accident yesterday doing lawn work, and she's in bed now in the hospital. So I got a call today that said she fortunately couldn't come. So well, I'll make sure she gets her certificate. Next is Jenny Balden White. Next is Sharon Boudreau McIntyre. We have one deceased member, but her sister has graciously volunteered to come. So for Elizabeth Keeping, Shirley will accept her reward. Next is Janice Kiss Boudreau. Next is Cheryl McGilvery McKenzie. Next is Lori Martin Hodder. Next is Susie Martin Head. Next is Susan Mumbercat Bootler. Next is Sharon Peckham O'Donnell. Next is Debbie Pazzarello. Next is Brenda Poirier. Next is Aaliyah Ratchford McNeil. Come on. Now, I want to say a little bit about this next person before I announce him. Coaches in soccer nowadays got with these turf fields, all they got to do is show up and play. Back in our day, you had to line the field with a string and a bag of lime. We didn't have a liner. Had to put the nets up before every game, but take the nets down after every game, before and after practice. You had to have somebody chasing the soccer balls when they were over the fence because we didn't have that many soccer balls. And doing all the chores that I couldn't have done it by myself. And that person was Michael Tatlock, the equipment manager. Michael was with me in school soccer, in senior soccer, in tournament soccer. He was always there. Okay, and last but not least, nowadays teams have their psychologists, sports psychologists. We had our own team psychologist back then. She was the psychologist, she was the chaperone, she was the mother coach. She knew everything that was going on in the locker room because I took care of the stuff on the field, but I didn't know. She had the pulse of the team, and I couldn't have coached without her. So, co-coach and a wonderful person, Marion McNeil. So it's protocol that the coach says a few words of thanks after the inductions. So I asked Marion, did she want to do that? And she politely told me where to go. She told me I had the gift of gab. So, but seriously, on behalf of this team, I want to thank the committee very much. It's an honor to be recognized by your peers, especially in a town like Waterford